Hi everybody, my name is Morgan Jackson. I'm 32 years of age and I'm here just to say a few quick words about how helpful Milo has been and how exponentially important How to Job has been in helping me secure employment within the financial industry. Before I met Milo in the short amount of time that I've been working with Milo, my LinkedIn profile wasn't especially professional. I really didn't know how to network and use LinkedIn properly as a tool. And even more importantly, I had no knowledge about how the unadvertised job market worked on LinkedIn. However, as I mentioned before, in the small amount of time of working with Milo, my profile is not only now much more professional looking, my handles and my hashtags and my algorithms is corrected to make sure that the jobs recommended to me fit my personal profile, and my networking skills and my understanding of the unadvertised job market has exponentially increased. Without Milo's help, this would have been essentially impossible for me to do as coming from the teaching profession, as I didn't really understand the nuanced system of transitioning from education to the financial sector. I think if anybody is committed to finding a job, Milo's your guy, and How to Job is going to be exponentially important in giving you that confidence to not only securing job interviews, but also securing employment at some of the top financial firms in the country. Without Milo's help, I would have had none of those interviews and I would have had none of those job offers at some of the top five wealth management companies in the world. At the end of the day, Milo's been exceedingly helpful for me, and I really encourage everybody who's serious about securing a job within the financial industry to get in contact with Milo. Good luck in your journey, and thank you.
So that was my client, Morgan. Morgan generated 5 offers in 5 weeks. He got into a wealth management position. He did not have experience and he was struggling for months prior to working with me for a strategy. In this video, I'm going to talk through what he did, how he did it, what's important, what you might not be doing. And I'm going to give you some ideas. And also, there's going to be an opportunity for you to work with me and my company to generate very similar results if you want to. Okay, let's get started. Not dopamine fluff. I'm not going to impress you with some fancy slides or amazing animations. This is going to be literally black and white piece of paper stuff, to the point. No faffing around. This is what he did. This is how he did it. This is why he did it. This is what happened. This is what you can do as well. So I want to keep this pretty on point. Okay, a little bit about Morgan. Morgan was a teacher. He had no experience in wealth management. He wanted to work as a wealth manager. He applied for months before that, usually got the pushbacks of you don't have enough experience. Every application he made was rejected. He didn't have a single interview. And then we started working together. There was a strategy. He had 12 interviews in the space of about 5 weeks. That generated 5 offers. So the way we did that was not just applying. We focused on LinkedIn and a bit of a strategy. Okay, experience wasn't the issue. Many of you think right now you need experience to get into the job you want to do. That isn't the case. Companies are looking for other things apart from hard skills. For specific roles like being a doctor or a lawyer, maybe you would need that experience. That's me being sarcastic, by the way. I'm sure you would, and I hope you would. But for different types of positions, wealth management, data analytics, certain positions out there, you would be surprised that companies are actually willing to invest into you to build you into that type of person rather than expect you to have all the experience. So networking will be able to unlock that. Now, visibility beats volume. I'm going to give you two scenarios. Let's start with the volume. You've spent 11 hours a week applying for jobs. You've redone your CV, resume, you've used ChatGPT, you've perfected that resume, you've applied for hundreds of jobs every week, you've spent 11 hours that week, and you haven't had a single response. And then you think, well, what's going on? Why is that not happening? That's what Morgan did before. Visibility beats that volume because that volume ensures, in most cases, especially in this market, you're invisible. So you can make all these applications, but you don't exist. And that's a bit of an issue. So visibility, if somebody knows you exist and then you make an application and then you ask questions, that will beat that volume you might be already doing. So how do you become visible? What do you do? What needs to happen? The soft profile. Now, if you've watched any videos of mine before, I talk a lot about the soft profile. The soft profile is how you become more visible, which is things outside of your hard skills. So keep in mind, Morgan didn't have the wealth management experience, but he had other attributes to his profile that were really attractive to wealth management companies. Now, a soft profile is a number of things. You've got company culture fit, you've got soft skills, you've got personality traits, you've got the actual reason you want to work in that industry. What's your why? Are you going to work in a big company, a small company, a medium-sized company? Do you like startups? more about you. These are things that you come with already rather than building that experience. If a company is going to hire you, they're going to hire you because your soft profile fit. So all of these things as you as a person are applicable to the company itself. Now, for a company's perspective, they can build the experience if they feel that you are worth that investment. So if you're looking at, hey, I have the experience, I don't have the experience, but I'm going to start anyway and focus just on the experience, you're going to lose. You're going to be what Morgan did before a strategy for 6 months applying, nothing happening. But then if you start focusing on your soft profile, you'll just have more to talk about and you'll be able to really leverage that into an actual meeting. 20 people per day. Morgan reached out to 20 people per day on LinkedIn. That's 100 people in a week. Now, you might be thinking, that sounds crazy, reaching out to 100 people a week. It takes less time to do that than to make 10 applications a week. Trust me, because when you make an application, you have to, and we all know this, you apply, then you have to fill in the details, and then you would rather tell the machine, like, hey, read my resume. I've just answered all of these things in my resume, but then they want you to answer it again. Talk about your education, why you want the role in that little checkbox thing. That takes an hour to do per application, right? So if you do 10 applications in a week, that's 10 hours. This will take less time than that if you know who you're speaking to, what you're saying. But you should be reaching out to 20 people a day on LinkedIn, which is the limit of your ad notes. So using an ad note feature on LinkedIn, so you can connect to people, send a message, ask a question, then get an acceptance, then ask another question, then get some form of feedback and engagement, and then get a meeting. That's what I'm going to talk about through this video. That's what Morgan did. So 20 people a day, 100 people a week will serve you far better than making 10 applications in a week. Okay, so think about that. Momentum is maths. If you reach out to 10 people on a Monday, and then on a Tuesday, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to relax. I did 10 yesterday, right? So I've earned my relaxation day. No, okay, you need to do 20 every single day. Your job search is another job until you find the job you want to do. So you treat it like a job. You treat it as seriously as you would a job. So you're reaching out to people consistently and with a big number, because your competition is going to be lazy. Not everybody's watching these videos, by the way. People are applying for the last 6 months, hoping for a job. They've accepted the fact that they're probably not going to get that job, and they're going to continue doing the same thing. You're not going to do that. You're different. You're educating yourself with this. So momentum is what you need. LinkedIn is the asset. If we're connecting to people, we're using LinkedIn. LinkedIn has 1.2 billion users, and people are getting jobs every 0.3 seconds without resumes. Your LinkedIn is your new resume, right? So you want to use that, get that in front of people so people know you exist, and then you want to be able to talk about your soft profile. So in Morgan's case, Morgan talked about, hey, I want to know what the company culture is like because I'm looking for a meritocratic environment because I would like to build the experience that I don't have. Imagine reaching out to someone and letting them know that, right? Hey, I'm interested to know what soft skills are the most important when you're hiring people with no experience. You're already putting that objection in front of companies. You're handling that objection. Hey, I don't have experience, but what else are you looking for? He received responses from people on LinkedIn saying, we're looking for this soft skill, that company culture fit, this personality trait. We want people who want to work in a small company. We want people who want to career progress extremely quickly. We're looking for people that are going to invest in themselves as well. We're going to pay for your exams, or we want to make sure you're going to take this super seriously. Having that conversation with a decision maker, a hiring manager, a person who's doing the job, a person who's influencing the hiring decisions. Imagine having that conversation. And then they can see, okay, this person is very serious. If you use your LinkedIn as an asset, you're able to then have these conversations. This is what Morgan did. Now, you want to connect to people. Now, the reason I put connect is you want to use the add note feature on your LinkedIn. Morgan did this. He found a list of companies that he wanted to work for. He had a list of people that he wanted to connect to. So again, hiring managers, recruiters, wealth managers, senior wealth managers, CFOs, executive directors. That was a target list. Connecting to them shouldn't be, hey, I want to work for your company, please accept me. That's not what you do. You actually connect by sending an ad note, and it could be as simple as, hi name, I can see you're the senior wealth manager, would be great to connect. Now you might be thinking, that doesn't seem too impressive, and it's not designed to be. your connection, and this is what Morgan really saw the difference in, your ad note is just to get a connection. That's your knock on the door. Now, if they accept you, you have an open door. Then you can provide the context, right? So context, this matters more than you think. If you get a connection, then you start asking questions. But it's too early to say, hey, can I get a job? Like, that's not what Morgan did. What Morgan actually did do was he asked, when it comes to soft skills that are important for people with no experience, what would they be? When it comes to hiring people with no experience, do you focus on soft skills or company culture? When it comes to career progression with people who have minimal experience, what do you specifically look for as a personality trait? Now, you might be thinking, well, that's a pretty easy question to ask. It is, but the majority of you do not get to this station because you're sending everything in an ad note, or you're sending an email that says an entire novel about who you are, and then you tell everyone about how amazing your education is, or how really motivated you are about spreadsheets. And all that says to actual companies is, hey, I'm motivated to pay my bills. If you're sending those types of messages, these types of messages are building momentum, they're building rapport, and they're actually generating opportunities for you to get feedback, engagement. And once you start getting more connections on LinkedIn, you actually get more people connecting to you, and you get more opportunities to talk about why you might be the right fit. But providing context doesn't show that, hey, here's my resume, can I get a job? Context provides the engagement, and also you actually ask questions rather than you pitch. Now, imagine pitching you being the right fit without any experience. Hey, I'm really good. I have no experience. Give me a job, please. Like, nobody's going to take you seriously, right? I hope you're not doing that. But if you start asking questions like I've just mentioned, which are based on your soft profile, then you'll have companies sharing what they look for. So you do have bargaining chips, even if you don't have experience. If you do have experience, you have even more bargaining chips because now you can focus on the soft profile as well as the experience. And that will just give you more context to talk about how you could be a potential right fit. Now, be researched, not needy. Again, the better the questions, the better the answers you get. Now, imagine you ask 20 people a day questions and you get a ton of answers about what they look for when it comes to not having the right experience or not having any experience. Well, we're going to focus on people with leadership as a quality. We want people who can be in a meritocratic environment. We want people who do this, do that, do this. You have data to be researched. So you can't say, hey, can I get a job? You can now say, hey, I understand that being a leader and being in a meritocratic environment is important. Do you think that you can take me on and help me build the experience required? And could I apply with the traditional experience I have from a teaching background? Now, imagine asking that question to a company that's completely happy to do that. You've got an opportunity. And this is what Morgan did. Hey, very quickly, if you wanted to book a call with me so I can go through your job search with you, maybe you need help with reverse rejections, happy to help with that. Maybe you just need a strategy to know how to get more offers, more interviews, whatever you need, I'm here. Book a call, link in the description. Back to the video. Now, you want to ask for 5 minutes. If you're not asking people for 5 minutes, you are leaving so many offers, so many recommendations, so many interviews on the table by not just going out there and saying, hey, do you have 5 minutes? If you get 5 minutes with a hiring manager and they say yes, there's a job there. There's an opportunity there and you're not grasping it, and you need to. If you grasp those opportunities, you will have 12 meetings. What Morgan did, he had 12 meetings, 8 interviews, and 5 offers. Imagine that. And he did that in 5 weeks. What did you do for the last 5 weeks? You probably applied for a ton of jobs and got rejected and thought, maybe I need to do something else. No, you need to do the job you want to do within reason. As long as I'm not speaking to any, astronauts or doctors here or legal partners, those jobs are a little bit different than this type of methodology, but ask for 5 minutes. Conversations go into interviews. Morgan had conversations with people. If you move away from the, hey, can I get a job? Hey, can I get a job message? And you go into, hey, I'm going to have a real conversation with someone. And then I'm going to see if they like me. And if there's an opportunity to actually have a meeting with them and get recommended for an interview, you're going to have a much better chance, right? So that's what you want to work on. You are an investment. Companies are looking at you as an ROI. Are you going to be return on investment positive, return on investment negative? If you're going to be positive, then they're going to see why, and you're going to explain as to why you are. If it's going to be a negative, then you might have all the experience in the world, but if you're not the right company culture fit, you have no chance. So therefore, that's not going to work. Equally for soft skills, equally for personality traits, equally for so many different things. 5 offers in 5 weeks. Morgan, this is what he did to generate that. Okay. It's not rocket science. It's basically talking to more people in the companies you want to work in, using LinkedIn the correct way, not in mail messages, not random emails, add notes, generating context as to why you've connected. So number one is you get a connection. Number two, you provide context. Number three, you ask for a meeting on top of that context, if it makes sense. If you get a meeting, one thing that Morgan did really well were closing questions. Judging by how I presented myself in this meeting, do you feel that I would be the right fit for your company? He got a yes. If you get that as a yes, you can then ask another question. I have this in my platform, by the way. Can you help me make a formal application that results in an interview? You can't ask that with a resume. You can only ask that question if you have a meeting with someone who knows about your profile, has connected to you, has answered some questions, and provided context for you. Okay, so think about that. One offer equals relief. Thank God I got an offer. Multiple offers equals leverage. Many of you get one offer and you accept it, and it's the wrong company. It's a toxic environment. You leave after 3 months, and you do that knowing it, but that's because you've only got one offer and you're relieved with that. I want you to have leverage. Do you think Morgan had a better chance to pick the right company because he knew what he was looking for and he had all these offers that he could then play up against each other in an ethical way? But okay, this company offered this much. This company offered a faster career progression. This company had a much better company culture for him. This company really wanted him to progress even faster. Okay, the other company sounded too good to be true, probably didn't accept that one, but then he had multiple options. He could then negotiate much better, and it offered him leverage. I want you to have leverage as well. So this is what we do. You need help with this, link in the description, reach out to me, my team, we have a platform. We will make this happen for you. So reach out and I'll see you on the next video.